I thank you, Chair, and I thank you, CS. Chair, I traveled from Mutembei to Nairobi by road last night. In fact, I arrived here, Chair, you remember. I communicated with you at 5 a.m. in the morning, believing that the Deputy President was exposed. And Chair, I'm saying this because from the statement I have here, I disturbed my person traveling by road of a person whose security detail is bigger than the entire security detail guarding Mutembei County. And I think I want to request that in as much as we play politics, we should not play politics with matter security. Chair, to put this matter in context, the Deputy President, in his usual manner, says he has no problem with the security reorganization around him. But the politicians around him are saying there is a downgrade and undue exposure. And this, based on that of his chair, is occasioning unnecessary anxiety in public mind. So Chair, my first question or request is that the people around the deputy, some are not just politicians, CS. And in as much as you are saying you should not be bothered by the letter which came from the Chief of Staff of the Deputy President, the public concern about this matter commenced from that letter. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter and I asked what was happening. In fact, I was asking why didn't the Deputy President's Chief of Staff, knowing the security channels and arrangements, speak with them in a manner that protects the integrity and the professionalism of our security apparatus. So that, Chair, I will be seeking your directions at the end, that in as much as the CS and his team say they are not politicians, they want to do their work and leave it at that, the matter of the conduct of that Chief of Staff in the office of the Deputy President, being an employee under our charge as Parliament, is a matter that must be dealt with. So that I'm confirming that after this, if it does not come from the committee on its own motion, I'll bring it before the committee so that he can come here and tell us the code of conduct under which he operates when he writes and posts things in the social media in the manner he's doing. But CS, this matter has been taken as a discourse outside there because the members of the public and the media, which is our main channel of communication, do not take time to understand the law beginning with the Constitution. In fact, CS, I'm shocked at the manner and the extent to which our very competent officers in the administration police service have been undermined. When you hear people comparing our APs to even G4S, I think we don't understand what the administration police service is and the Kenya police are. So I would have requested that because the media is here and Kenyans are watching, you have elaborated not only provisions of the standing order. I think for the sake of the public, you would have, made a few mentions of it now that the media is showing these proceedings. And more particularly, Chair, the units which have been created under both Kenya Police Service and Administration Police Service and what they are in charge of. Because you see, Chair, people have been saying the Deputy President is not being protected. Us in the committee know that the Presidential Escort Unit, which is a unit affiliated to the General Service Unit, is protecting the person of the Deputy President as they do that of the President. You are being told that a change in terms of the officers guarding the residents was a downgrade. What the CS needs to tell the public is when this Security of Government Buildings Protection Unit was established and its mandate, that people, can understand that there is a unit specific to protection of those critical installations, the government buildings like the deputy's residence. Lastly, CS, if you look at the statement at page 2, you are clarifying who the GSU guards at paragraph 9. It's the president, the deputy president, the state houses and state lodges. So that the forum of this committee, which is the link of the security apparatus with parliament, chair, should be utilized by the CS to tell Kenyans that if anybody who wants the residence of the deputy president to be included in this category, and what they should be proposing is the inclusion. But before the inclusion, really, you cannot obligate the IG to install GSU to guard a residence not mentioned as a residence is obligated to take care of. So I would request, Chair, that the CS makes a bit of these mentions for clarity because we are live. Mention the various units. I imagine, Chair, that even the border patrol unit, the anti-stock theft unit, even this GSU, clarify to Kenyans whether they are under Kenya police or administration police so that people can understand these things. And to me, that would be good in terms of explaining. And what are these units and their formations and their roles? But Chair, I regret we have taken too long playing politics over an office that is protected more than my county. And that is the aspect that saddens me.
Honorable Vice Chair, that order. Then we will take round.
Chairman, permit me to ask the following question to our respected Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Matiangi. Fred, you are a great man. We are discussing a national discourse, a sensitive issue. Where I come from, this issue has raised a lot of tensions. And therefore, let me ask two questions. Deputy President William Ruto, security has been downgraded suddenly. Was this move justified? And if so, why now? In the countdown to general election, all presidential aspirants it has been a tradition, our Cabinet Secretary, that their security are reinforced. And me personally, I believe in unity in diversity. I'm a man who took my heart. The great gospel singer, an Israeli, once said, truth is constant. According to Article 131 of our Constitution, A, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta is the President, Head of States and Government. According to Article 131B, he is the Chairman of Security Council. According to Article 131C, he is the Commander-in-Chief of Kenya Defense Forces, 5-star General. And according to Article 131E, he is the symbol of national unity, Cabinet Secretary. Whereas, according to Article 130, William Ruto is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, as well as his principal assistant. Their relationship with the President are like conjoined twins. Their relationship are symbiotic. You can't separate the two. You are suitable enough, you are competent enough, you are a scholar to interpret the Constitution. I, William Chepkut, I took an oath of office to protect, to uphold, and defend the supremacy of our constitutional institution and its constitutional institutions like DPP and IBC, just but to mention a few. Having said that,
okay, member, now ask the question. You have laid the background.
yeah.
Now ask the question.
Having said that, Cabinet Secretary, I submit with a lot of, because we want to tolerate each other. Let's tolerate each other. Let's forgive each other. Let's commit each other. Let's accommodate each other. I want you, it is my sincere request that return the security of Deputy President. That is my submission.
You will be able to take that, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, honorable members. A total of about 8 questions. I will be very specific, very precise in responding to them. What determines the numbers? We go by requests and what you may describe broadly as expanse. You know, Mr. Chairman, if you become the deputy president of the country and you are also coming from the business background or you have capacities, not all of us, there are Kenyans who have 2-3 homes, there are Kenyans who have 1 home, and we are different people. We are not going to stop, insist on, we don't have a precedent in this country where there's a limit to how many installations we can look after and so on. Plus, you see, my colleagues and I in the security sector live in this fear all the time that should anything happen to a senior leader in government, like the deputy president, it will not only embarrass the country and subject all of us to ridicule, it will be difficult to explain to the people of Kenya. So it depends on the expanse and what you have and what you don't have. And I think I could tie this to what Honorable Masara asked about whether I can provide the properties of the various other predecessors, I mean, to the holder of the current office. What I've given you is everything they had. If they didn't have a kiosk, they didn't have. We just gave them, they were given 22 police officers, that's all, to guide them around as they moved around. If they didn't have a school, they didn't have a school. You know, if they didn't have a place where they would go, if they didn't have a home in Isiolo, for example, so that home also in Isiolo can be looked after, they didn't have it. So what I've given you, what we drew from the police records, is all that was allocated. I mean, what Jaramogi was allocated is what he was allocated. What Musalia Mudavadi was allocated was what was allocated. That is his Nairobi home and his home in Viga. So if he didn't have a home in Isiolo, another one in Nakuru, another one somewhere else, it expands. It depends on, you know, the capacities and what you're able to have from time to time. The police will go that particular way. That is how they are guided in that particular respect. So the numbers are not necessarily determined by us. In fact, I dare say that if we would be absolutely honest and tell you that if we matched all the requests that are being made from certain offices in cases like this, we can't afford it. It becomes very difficult. But it also depends on the expanse. Who is where, what, who has what, where, who goes where, and so on. If today a Mazimbo teacher become the deputy president and my home is only 1 or 2, that's what will be protected. And that's what happens to all leaders and so on. So how does this sit with the ratio? Well, you know, we've been working very hard, Mr. Chairman, and you know, as our security committee, that we are barely moved to a ratio of 1 to 600 in terms of police to population. We are racing against the UN ratio of 1 to 450. But look, there is a point to which you also, as leaders, need to understand the tradition and the way in which we have operated in the security sector in our country. I've seen people asking me questions, for example, saying, why do you provide security to this private facility? Or why do you provide security to look after somebody's chicken business and so on? And asking the converse is this: what if there was a notification by a local manager to a county police commander or a sub-county police commander that this property belongs to so and so, it needs to be looked after, and then they didn't look after that and something happened? We would be facing the same problems we are facing now. We would be accused, oh, we don't care protecting other people's property, it's being destroyed while we are watching and so on and so forth. We're in a catch-22 situation. You know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But the situation is what it is. It's not a decision that is made willy-nilly by the Inspector General of Police and the people in the security sector. Some of it is driven by demand, some of it is driven, as said, by secondary notifications from personnel and people who are associated with these offices. It is not a burden to us. Let me say that. It has not become a burden to us yet. We are able to provide security, and we are able to continue supporting the office of the Deputy President.